hang on. Let me see if you guys are here. I know I saw people in there already, but I need to make sure it starts. Hang on. Okay, it's gonna start. Damn it! I feel so lucky right now. Let me put my screen down. Hi everybody. So sorry about yesterday because I had to spend time with my husband. I absolutely had to. You know how it is. You know, like my hobby. So I got to enjoy my hobby yesterday for hours and hours. It was, you guys, it's just so much fun. You're like, shut up. I'm sorry. I know some people really hate this part. Yarnitarian, episode 24. Vente y cuatro. Did you love my accent? My teacher's like, your accent's amazing, but you conjugating your verbs, horrible. Kidding. This is like in 9th grade. And just to let you know, in my 9th grade in Mendocino, California, what we did was, I'm not sure what you guys did, but we would use our lunch money, which was, I think it was $1.50 a week. we used our lunch money to buy purple microdot acid at $1 a hit. I'm not kidding. That's legitimately the truth. And then we'd also, like, the other one was Mr. Natural Blotter. And then everybody's parents grew marijuana. And so they wouldn't give you, like, the bud, but all the trimming off of the bud. And I'm not lying. And so, like, I'd go into my girlfriend's house, and she had everybody had wood ring stoves. Everybody had wood ring stoves. So they'd have, like, nets, like fishing nets, hanging from the ceilings. And that's where they would put the marijuana in the fishing nets and draw. This is legitimately the story, and it's not a lie. I'm serious. That's what we did when I was, what is 9th grade? Is that like 14? Like at 12, I mean, we were like, will you buy for me? Like outside of I know you guys can relate to this. I know there's a lot of people that can, because it used to be in the good old days where, like, if you wanted extra cigarettes, you just go to the cigarette machine and put in like 25 cents, and then you would pull all of the things at once, and then a bunch of different cigarettes would fall out, like different kinds. It was like fooling the machine. And then I know I'm not the only one, but at 12, so we'd stand outside the liquor store, and then we'd be like, hey, will you buy for us? Seriously? And then we would buy Bacardi 151 because you got the most bang for your buck. Consequently, I can't drink E&J brandy, because that was another one we would get, and Bacardi 151. Like, I don't drink hard liquor except for single malt scotch, really good single malt scotch, and that's with my husband. But because I had way too much before the age. I'm from 12 to, like, I stopped drinking when I want to say it was 15, because I was so mature. Like, those young people, like, they're like, I'm already past partying at 15, because I'd been, like, completely blowing it up from 12 to 15. And at 15, I was like, I mean, that's just so immature. And then, of course, I started back up when I was like 18 or 19. I can't even remember. But anyway. But then I had a good 4 sober years in there. Anyway, how's everybody? I have stories aplenty, just let me tell you. Stories aplenty. And by the way, I think Pedro actually is... Pedro, I'm almost positive Pedro, because I have Pedro's. Pedro is in the class, and so, yes, is the other person. She's in the class, Holly. And so, but I think because the email we gave, that I was given to put into because you have to have the email so that I can allow you into the class, and it is a woman's, I think it's Maria. So I think Pedro, but I do know there's several people on here that have men's names. That are actually not men, and it's not for any other reason that this sounds crazy, but a lot of women have like crazy exes, and they just don't want people to know them, and so then they like put like a pseudonym. Did you like how I used that big word, pseudonym? I studied it right before I came on. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so I have a new tooth, you guys. This tooth saga. So I know I'm not going to retell you the story, because I know everybody already knows of the thing where I had to fight to get it down to $600 from like thousands and thousands. But when he went in and pulled that tooth, which he told me, so I couldn't even sleep the night before, because my teeth have hooks on them. Like, so I know I get to be special with everything. But anyway, so the root has a hook, so they're usually very difficult to get out. So I was like knowing that and it feels like they're ripping your whole jaw out, and it feels like I can feel it in my other teeth, and I just can't. You guys, it really puts me over the edge. My blood pressure skyrockets, and so I took a bunch of blood pressure medicine and Neurontin and like all these things to completely like basically knock me out. And anyway, so I said to him right when I sat down, I said, okay, doctor, just please tell me that when their teeth are dead, that it's way easier to get them out. He goes, actually, it's much harder. I was like, Like, and then my blood pressure just skyrockets, right? But anyway, so he goes in and like, he barely does anything, the tooth comes out. It was like so awesome. So then he looked, and what he could see was that from 3 years ago, so this is like proof positive. I think then he was like so okay with the fact that they're going to have to give me like $4,000 off, because he could see where the screw went in for the implant. It went through into, there's a channel that goes right in from where the tooth they were supposed to be fixing is into the tooth that they were pulling. And so the tooth that they killed by putting that screw into it was like abscessed, and it had been draining for like 3 years into this other, the tooth that they had originally pulled. And that's why those things were not healing. So that's why I couldn't have implants. So then of course I look like I am on meth because I have teeth missing on that side. So then he brings out, so I have this little tiny little partial, it's like a flipper. It's tiny for the one tooth. And then they were supposed to make me another, a flipper with just the 2 teeth. So I expected the exact same thing. They bring out this gargantuan like denture, right? And I just looked at him and I said, there's not a chance you're putting that in my mouth. Like, you have to cut it. You have to cut the whole part out. It has to be like a tiny little, it has to only have the 2 teeth on it and just fit on the side. So the guy's like totally obedient. He's like, okay, whatever you want, lady. But also it looked like horrible. It looked like someone took like 4 inches of Play-Doh like this thick, like, and made it like this hot pink. I was like, what, was he like high or something? So when the doctor came in, I go, was your guy like drunk? He goes, I don't know, but it looks really bad. And I was like, I know. It doesn't look like anything like my other one that's like translucent and really good. And then it was so small, like it was, and you're numb, so you can't really feel how bad it is, but it was really hurting, even though I'm numb, it was not right. And you guys are like, wow, this story is really boring. No, it's not. It's going somewhere, believe me. So anyway, so they just like, they do whatever they are supposed to do. He cuts it and he files it and sands it and everything. And then like, I was okay for that day until night, and then it was throbbing because they packed a ton of bone. It like ate the bone of the original tooth that they had already put a bone graft in. So that infection from the tooth they killed, like it had this whole side, there's no bone because it was just eating it. So anyway, they packed a ton of bone in, which I guess is supposed to be really painful. And by day before yesterday, I was in so much pain that I actually called them. They didn't give me anything. They gave me no antibiotics, no nothing. I started pumping the antibiotics. Like, I have a bunch of Keflex, so I started taking that. And then I have some leftover clindamycin. I started taking that. And then because I was sure that it's like the whole thing is infected. And I was like, I don't even know how I didn't overdose the other day. I probably took 20 tramadols within a 3 or 4 hour period. 20. And then I took like Percocet. I'm not kidding you. Like, it's Neurontin, and I was even taking Soma. I was taking everything. It hurt so bad, and so I called them, and they're like, well, it's supposed to hurt. And I was like, well, but you have no idea. Like, it's like I have had 5 kids without any medicine, and this, I would rather have a kid any day of the week than what this is. She's like, yeah, well, tooth pain typically is really bad. I'm like, okay, thank you, because it makes me feel so much better that you are telling me this, right? Since your mouth isn't the one hurting you. So, but the partial was so tight that I think that's what was really bothering it. So I took it out, which is really hard for me because then I look like a crack addict, right? And so then there's all these Airbnb people, and I'm missing all these teeth on the side. But I just took it out for like 4 days, and now it doesn't hurt at all. It doesn't hurt one bit. But then I just put it back in today just for you, so I didn't have to look like that with a big. It's like, you guys, it's horrible. I mean, it is horrible that I'm basically, I have like already 2 implants, and now I'm going to have 2 more. It's like, I may as well just have him rip all my teeth out. Which is why one of my friends doesn't come on here right now, because she did have all of her teeth taken out. Because she has a lot of tooth issues, and not from crack. She has like some immune issues, and so she had every one of her teeth pulled out. And just imagine, like at like 40 years old, what that would be like. That would be really difficult. And so they're doing implants in her too, and it's the same thing. Like, she'll have ones that fail, and it's just, oh my God, you guys, it's like, it's very scary, because obviously, like, your teeth are the first thing that people really notice. Plus, I know this is like, you need them to eat, believe me, I know, because it's very hard to eat with the one here that has the crown on it, the temporary, and then having these teeth missing on the side. You guys are like, okay, we could just move on and it would be great. I'll move on in a second. I want to see everybody, see what you guys are up to, see what you're saying. Sorry I had to change it, but if my husband's off, I am going to change it. I'm going to let you know now, because I don't get to see him very much. I really don't. Well, you're like, you live with him. I know, but it's true. I really don't get to see him that much. Okay, let me see. Trishy, I love you. And Trishy's talking. I'm sorry, did I blow out everybody's eardrums? You're like, yes. You're so pleasant, Natalie. Okay, hi, everybody. Oh, my gosh, you guys are, like, on it. Ike is here. You guys have to subscribe to Ike's Equines because he always says it, so I'm going to preempt the strike. I'm going to just say it now. And Sutton Gilly. Depends. Okay, C. I'm on West Coast time. Yes. And then Darlene and Addison and Michelle and Linda Lightcap. Hi, Linda came on just because she wanted to see if I was actually going to talk about fiber. And then she's like, okay, she's talking about her tooth. Sorry, Linda, it's coming, baby, it's coming. Okay, let's see. I'm going to show Ike's Equines. He's saying something. Subscribe to his channel. You can subscribe to his channel. And Carmen. Hi, Carmen. Here from Texas. Digging life. Actually, I was really depressed yesterday. And Ms. Dahlia. Hello, Ms. Dahlia and Samantha. And then there's Darlene Hukin. Hello. And, of course, Trishy is my amazing Trishy. And I love Trishy. She's one of my best friends. Diana and Valerie and Chloe and Mary Wildflower, Jacinda, Melanie, and Pajamas Flannel. It's Pedro, not Pedro. It's Pedro, not Pedro, not Pedro. Stop, you guys. Sorry. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm actually very Caucasian. Which, let me just say, so today I was at the pallet place again, and this Hispanic family owns it. It's like they have like 8 children, and all of the children work there, and it's really cool because the chicks are like driving the forklifts. Because like most people think of forklift drivers as being a guy, which is so stupid because typically, I'm just going to say women are better drivers. And we're just better at a lot of things. Welding, better at welding. We were both working, like we're both loading all this stuff into my truck, right? Pallets, because it's really, there's pallet fences there for $5, and they're like 10 feet long and 5 feet high. Yes, $5 each for each of those panels. So, and I'm like I don't even sweat very much. I'm sweating buckets, and he's just like, water off a duck's back. And I was just like, just gonna say it right now, like, most Caucasians, I don't know that it's simply that they're lazy, that they can't work as hard as Hispanic people, but a lot of it has to do with we can't handle the heat as well. It's just the truth. When you have like light skin, you can't handle the heat. And he started laughing because he thought it was really funny because he's like, no, actually they're lazy. But you're not lazy. And I said, well, I thank you. Are you hitting on me? Just kidding. I didn't say that. Okay, let's see. So Girl Quilting, hello. And I'm going, and then Trishy's saying, I still can't believe that he didn't give you antibiotics. I know. And Susie Q, Missy Allen, Andrea, Christina Luoma, hi from Montana, hi from California. Actually, I'm not high. I'm not even, I just have only had a little bit of beer. But actually, all the drugs I took when I was young probably made up for it. And I probably still have that in my system, I'm sure of it. And Linda Lycan says the dental struggle is real. Oh my God, Linda, do you know the dental struggle? Because I'm telling you, like, to go on about it sounds so stupid. It sounds really like, why are you even telling us about this? But I am just saying the pain of this, they're like, please stop it. Okay, I'm going to stop. And I'm just going to go on to other things. So, of course, I've still, the Airbnb's like, I started renting, I call it Hammy, that trailer. I started renting Hammy, which you guys know. And I thought, to be honest with you, I thought, because it is hard because Hammy has the bathroom and the shower and the toilet are in the same compartment. And if you're over, I'm going to say 6 feet, you're going to hit your head on the ceiling. It's very small, right? And it's an 18-foot trailer with this little, and so like I rented it and called it glamping, even though it's better than glamping because technically glamping is that you have a tent, right? So, but I call it glamping. And Hammy is super cute. But I thought not very many people would rent Hammy, and that would be good. Because then I wouldn't have to feel like I'm not meeting their expectations, even though I'm dead honest about what Hammy is. It's like, I say it has a tiny bathroom shower combo. I didn't say it that many times. I just said it once. And that, I just say everything. That it's, it's a reproduction canned ham trailer. And, but the Hammy, like, rents a lot. It's crazy how much Hammy rents. It seems like every time like Airbnb is like pinging me that it's for Hammy. It's very, and then, so there's this, what keeps happening, it just happened again, is that I have my Hammy's only on VRBO and on Airbnb. But I have the 2 cottages on booking.com, VRBO, and Airbnb. And I've had them double book because they don't sync right away. So there's this, and it's just like, I don't know if you guys, anybody who has an online business, the amount of nickel and diming you get from things, like, is ridiculous. Whether it's like your web server you have to pay, and then I pay somebody $75 a month to make sure my websites are up. Because, or they're not Chinese porn, which has happened so many times, where I get hacked and people will write and go, Natalie, just to let you know, there's Chinese porn when we go to your website. And I'm like, oh, let me see it. And I'm like, oh, wait, that's probably not appropriate, but can we watch it for a while first? Just kidding. Anyhow, I'm like, Sean, honey, come here. Look, we have free porn. I don't do that. I actually go into a total spaz, and like I call the web host and I'm like, why is there Chinese porn when they put in namastefarms.com? Like, I think at first people are punking me, but then I go on and sure enough, there's Chinese porn. So I pay someone $75 a month to check and make sure everything's running, to update everything, because I have several, 4 different websites. So but for now, it's like, now this company wants to charge $45 a month to sync all my calendars and just put all of my reservations on one calendar. And then if they don't, like, they make a mistake, they give you $500. Like, if somehow something doesn't get synced and you have an overbooking, they'll give you $500 for that mistake. So now I'm going to be, again, it's just like ridiculous how much money goes out every month for just like web stuff. It's like just another thing, right? It's just another thing. But actually, I think I'm going to have to do it because when you have to call someone, and let me just tell you, it's a horrifying call. Hi, this is Natalie Redding speaking. You booked my blah-de-blah, and unfortunately, it's not available. It was already booked. And then, of course, I offer to give them something, right? Because you don't want them to be pissed off, because if I cancel it, I get docked. Like, I get there's a fee associated with it, and then they take you off being like a super host or whatever their thing is, and you work really hard for that, right? So anyway, you're like, we don't give a shit about that either. Okay, I will tell you this though. So anyway, I got a message. I'm so appreciative of every person that stays at my places. I'm just going to be honest with you. But every once in a while, you get a person, as you know, that like you would like to throttle. This happened. I don't think this happened this week. But what did happen was I got this message from a lady. So there's these things called Airbnb experiences where you pay like $30. I want to say it's like $30 or $35, and up to 10 people can come. And I will take you around and I teach you about like basically ruminants, and I talk about, horses and, things about horses, and you get to feed the horse with carrots, and we take pictures of you. And then I, take them to Lucy the cow, and they can go in and they can pet Lucy and, feed Lucy grain. And then I take them, and I usually will let somebody work the dog. I show them the dog and show them the dogs, how the dogs work, and then explain, what Kambai is and away to me. And, then I tell them that I'll, usually there's a couple of them that I'll say, I'll let you work my dog, but you have to like make sure that she'll listen to you, like look at you when you say her name. Like, you have to be commanding. And then I will shear for them and skirt for them. And then if they're older, usually I'll take them in here to show them the finished product and what kind of, art yarn. And, I just pretty much teach them everything, right? It's basically, it's more than a tour. Like, it's educational, right? And it takes about an hour and a half. And so anyway, I get this. And then, of course, there's the Airbnbs, which you pay for. Like, that's if you message me on Airbnb, that's through the cottages. And if you message me through Airbnb experience, then that's the experience, right? The farm experience. And so I get this message from this lady. This is going to blow your mind, I hope. And she says, hi, I was just curious, how long the tour will be, and if you allow us to pet the animals, and if you allow us to bottle feed the babies, and she goes on and on and on, and, about all the things that she thinks that the tour should be. And so then, I addressed all of them, and I said, actually, yes. And then, I said, but you're messaging me on the Airbnb on the cottages. You're not messaging me on the experiences, but for the experience, that's exactly what I do. And then she writes back and she goes, no, I'm talking about the cottages. So she thinks that she's going to pay for the cottages for like whatever, I think that it would have been $147 a night. It was in the middle of the week for her. And she thinks that I'm going to, on top of that, I'm going to give her a free fucking tour. Like, with all this, like an hour and a half. Like, I literally, so I declined, because she wasn't, okay, you can just book automatically. She didn't do that. She wanted to make sure I was going to do these things first, so she was inquiring. So an inquiry, you can decline. So I decline the inquiry. And then I write her. and I said, when you book the cottages, that's what you're getting. That's what you're paying for, is the cottages. I said, when you book the Airbnb experience, then you get a tour. I said, but the two don't commingle. And then so I write her that, and then I send it, and then she writes back 2 seconds later, and she's like, "Why did you decline me? I want to know." Okay, bitch. Like, if you were in front of me, we would have a serious problem, because I'd probably throat punch you, as Jan Massey would say. So anyway, I say, totally clear, I said, I declined you because I cannot fulfill your expectations. Period. End. And then I walked away thinking, oh my Lord, like, balls o rama. Like, seriously, like, so if I go, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, I'm going to go to L'Auberge. I'm going to go to L'Auberge in Del Mar. Or let's say Ritz-Carlton. I expect from L'Auberge a room. I don't expect, Ritz-Carlton. I don't expect them to take me through the kitchen and talk about the kitchen and what the chef does and who the chef is, etc. And go the inner world. I mean, really, like, seriously, you guys, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. And let's just say, hypothetically, like, after that, she wanted to book, and I hadn't blocked her from booking, because that blocks her from booking. Would you ever want somebody like that? Like, I actually got like 4 stars from somebody instead of 5, because she said I didn't give her a tour. There was another person that expected a tour. She didn't tell me, though. She didn't tell me she expected a tour. But she's like, it would have been really great if you would have given us a tour, and she would have given us a tour, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I was just like, oh my God, like, are these people millennials? And if you're a millennial out there, I'm just saying, you're probably not like that. But there, for some reason, there's a lot of expectations of people that, and if it doesn't clearly say it, that you have that in there, would you expect it? Because at the bottom of the listing, it says, if you would like a farm tour, please go to Airbnb experience. And here's the link. The problem is, of course, I don't have any, I don't have any scheduled, because I'm really busy. I'm so busy, you guys, that I have screwed up. Oh my God. Okay. I told you last week that I didn't do the study sessions for masterclass, Face and Fiber masterclass, and the yarn dyeing class. Like, I missed it 2 weekends in a row. Well, it was scheduled for this weekend on Sunday, but I thought it was Color Me Beautiful, so I wrote, YouTube went down. This is no shit. YouTube actually was down. So I'm at the very tail end of Dye Secrets, tail end of it. And we just disconnect. I thought I hit this. I thought I hit this and it disconnected. And I was like, it was the end anyway. It was like the last question. And I just finished it, but I didn't get it to do a salutation. But then I go on to open up the study session for Color Me Beautiful. And it says, you cannot log in right now. And I'm like, what? And then I go and do it again. You cannot log in right now. And I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? And you can see the page looks normal until you try to go into Creator Studio. There's nothing. There's nothing. So then I go and I put in YouTube issues. And it says, like, YouTube issues, and it says nothing, nothing, nothing. June 2nd, it skyrockets, and it says 19,000 complaints, right? Already. Like, and this was at, I want to say 12 something, and at 12 o'clock, I guess it went down for, like, anybody working, right? And it seems like, oh, right, how convenient for you, Natalie, after you've already messed it up and you haven't been there 2 times in a row because you're so stupid, right? And I'm not stupid. I'm just, like, it's really hard if somebody's not super busy to understand how somebody could be overwhelmed, like completely overwhelmed. I am completely overwhelmed to the point where I actually got like this feeling, and this is not a lie, by the way. I got this feeling, it was not last night, I was just like, looked at my husband and I said, this is right before we got frisky. I was like, I gotta be honest with you, my life really sucks. Like, it really does. Like, my life is not pleasant. Like, the only pleasure I get really, is really like doing the vlog. I get tremendous pleasure out of that and seeing you guys. But it said in that and sex, which is, and well, okay, beer. If you want to start going beer and maybe Cheetos and okay, peanut M&Ms. But like, really, my life is, and it seems like I have it, but there's a lot of pressure and there's a lot of expectations of me from people, and I feel really bad because, like, I used to be this person that would never forget, I'd rarely forget an order. It would be like once every, sale I'd have. And like, I missed like 15 orders, you guys, from 2 weeks ago. And it just so happened because one of the people that bought a bunch of yarn from me was like, can I get my tracking number? And I was like, oh, God, like, that's what PayPal's for. And then I was like, oh my God, I didn't send her order out, and then I looked below her name, and there were all these names that I had forgotten. Not forgotten, but what does happen in my defense is PayPal, like if they don't pay the day that PayPal, like the day that the invoice is sent out, what happens is PayPal doesn't alert me when they pay way up here. They alert me down here. And I've already done all the orders here, right? So like it could be like maybe 50 names down or 60 names down, but there was a whole block of names that I didn't get, which of course then I have to write apologies and and then it was like, it makes me physically ill. I'm like, if all the people from my shampoo, www.woolshampoo.com, and all the people from www.readymethod got together with the people that are info at Namaste Farms, they all got together and said, how incompetent is Natalie right now? Like, the consensus would be pretty incompetent, like very incompetent. And it makes me physically ill at myself, because like that never would have happened. But right now, like, it's really like adding that third Airbnb. Oh my God. I mean, it is too much. So my friend Roger, who you guys know, I don't got a story about Roger too. I tremendously respect. He's like, then this is advice for everybody, by the way. He's like kind of a philanthropist with his advice. Like, he's really good about spending time with people and like explaining, like really good about trying if he thinks you're worthy, and like that, I think, like he sees hope, like in the whole thing. He really spends a lot of time helping, and I'm not the only one that he helps. And I really listen to his advice, even when I don't want to. I still listen to his advice but he says that you are working for your business, and you need your business to work for you. And that is really tremendously good advice. Like, if you're working like I am, and you have so much to do, like you're the epicenter of things. Like, I do the ironing, and I do the cleaning of the Airbnbs, and I do all of the stuff online, like making sure that they're booked. And then of course they come here, and you have to make sure they're having a good time, they don't need anything, and like you're like, wow, that sounds like so much work. And then of course the flock, I do all the shearing, and any of the doctoring, and the weaning the babies, and the ear tags, and fixing the blankets. And I mean, and then of course then I have to teach, and I have to keep track of that. Then I have the sales, and there will be like maybe 100 people are buying from it, which I'm having a huge, massive de-stash, because I have like 40, or maybe it's more like 30 drums, 55-gallon drums, and I emptied all of them. And because I have more fleece coming in, not just from the UK, but from the US, because I'm going to the UK in July. So you guys, I'm having this massive sale. I mean, it's actually massively get rid of everything, and tons of rare breeds. Like, there's a bunch of rare breeds I even forgot I had, like a lot, like Wisant. And like, if you guys are into rare breeds, then come to the sale on June 15th at 12:30 p.m. at www.facebook.com/teeswatersheep. There will be dyed yarns and undyed yarns, and like comb top that's like undyed and dyed. And my top is actually really reasonably priced. But anyway, there's going to be so much fleece, and a lot of, my coated fleeces, and some really beautiful fleece, really, really nice stuff that I've, forgot I had, that I hid away, because I do a lot of that. I do that. But anyway, so like, it's like, once again, my whole point is if you're not busy, then you have a hard time imagining that somebody could be that busy, that they couldn't take like 5 minutes to make sure that they didn't mess up the PayPal orders, right? Like, to go through scroll through the whole thing. But it's like, if every single thing that the things that are in the ethers that aren't like crucial right now, like a dying animal, you have in your mind, in your list, and you're like, okay, it's only going to take 5 minutes, but it never takes 5 minutes. It never does take 5 minutes. You're always there for a half an hour. And if you add up all of you, then you have to prioritize all of those things. It's actually it's really, I don't think I've ever been this busy in my entire life. And Roger says that I shouldn't be cleaning them myself, but already, like now this year, I've made $5,000 in cleaning fees now at this point, right? And so when you look at that, like, it's hard to let go of $5,000, right? So by the end of the year, if it keeps going at that rate, it's going to be, over $10,000 in cleaning fees. And, some people don't even make that in a year. So, sadly, but it's the fact. So it's like this thing where, he's right. He's like, what you should do is hire somebody for $20, for each of them, which would be $60, but you'll still be making $15 off of each of them. And that would be the smart thing to do, which it is true. So, but that is the next thing, and that'll let, because it's ridiculous. And plus we're getting ready for this wedding, my first wedding this Saturday. So the gal, Alicia, is having her wedding, and then I'm going to get a bunch of good pictures for that. And then hopefully that'll take a lot off my plate, because, those pictures will be what I build the websites on for doing weddings. And they wanted to charge me, you guys get this, okay? The weddingwire.com, it pursued me voraciously because they wanted me to sign up with them. And on their website, it says that they have these tiers, like you can have a free profile or you can pay like $93 a month, which I was like, I'll do $93 a month. And she's like, oh, actually our website's wrong. It's 200 and like, I want to say like $75 a month. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not starting off on the right foot, right? When you put on your website that it's this, but then you tell me there is no $93 a month, it's like 200 and something. And then I put in, because they have like a thing on each side that will say like barn and farm weddings, and then you put in the city, they're not the city, but the area. So I put Temecula, California, and then I put barn and farm weddings. Then there was only one listed, but there were tons listed, you know, like 75 miles away from here. And I'm like, okay, that's ridiculous because I know that there's way more places than that. So then I asked her, and this was on my phone, and I asked her, I said, so why is it that when I put it in my phone in Safari, if I put in Wedding Wire and I put Temecula, California, and farm and barn weddings, why only one comes up? Is that the people that are paying the $275 a month? Like they don't get to be shown because you're people that are paying $1,000 a month because there's $1,000 a month one. They're the ones that are taking up all that space. And she's like, well, if you put in Temecula City, I said, why? Temecula City's not the name of it. It's Temecula. So like, why would I put in, who's going to put in Temecula City for a barn and farm wedding? Zero. Because everybody knows barn and farm is not in the city. Plus, it's not called Temecula City. It's called Temecula. So anyway, she's like, yes, I see your point. I was like a blind person could see my point. So anyway, but then she's like, I'm like, well, why does it only show up one? Is that because they're not, and then she's like, yes, our featured people that pay like $1,000. And I'm like, okay, I can't pay you $1,000 a month. Like, there's not a chance. Well, if you pay, all those spots are taken anyway. I'm like, okay, well, that's great. So basically you're saying I'm going to pay you $275 a month and I'm going to get bumped, like I'm going to get nothing. So it was really like, then you get really frustrated. You get frustrated because you're like, okay, so I really want to do weddings, but you know, how is anybody? And then I'm like, you know what? Back it. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to build my own website and I'm actually going to do SEO on it. I'm going to ask one of you guys to help me with SEO. Hello, out there. And because SEO is like, you know, very specific and it costs a lot of money if you hire someone. So, but anyway, that's what I need to do. So I bought a bunch of website names in, you know, for this area that would, because she was saying, she gave me the stats. She said that, I want to say it was like 65 or 70% of the people that are looking for barn and farm weddings in Temecula are in the area. Like it's not like, so that would be great. But then I noticed that nobody had bought any website names with Temecula barn and farm wedding or anything like that. So I bought every one of them that I possibly could. Because they're like $10. So I bought, you know, those ones and then I would just have a redirect. But that should help too. You guys are like, wow, gosh, Natalie's talking about her business to us and we fucking don't care. There's more. So anyway, I never get to see Roger, and you know I love him. And it was so funny because Roberta was here, who I love too. Roberta, oh my God. And to have somebody that's like in my inner circle that is in the area, like, and she's helpful. Because she's Filipino, and I'm telling you, Filipino people are helpful. You're like, stop pigeonholing her. There are Filipino people that aren't helpful. Well, I'm just letting you know, I have 2 Filipino friends, and they're both, one is Naomi, she's been a friend for a long time. Amazing. And so loyal and loves me. And that's the thing, like, everybody needs to be loved. Everybody needs to feel important and not, I mean, everybody needs, it's a basic human need, right? So Roberta makes me feel loved. Naomi makes me feel loved. And they're both incredibly helpful and really hard workers. Roberta came in here, and just to let you know, when I am to do the sales, like I have the bags, they're numbered like by the lot number, but I may have used that bag before, so there may be lower down a different lot number. So I even get confused because if I was doing the sale, if I was packing the sale the day that I put, you know, everything in the bags, then I'd be fine because I know where everything is. But because I'm packing it like a week and a half later, I get completely lost. I'm telling you, there are times when it takes me a half an hour to find the thing that I'm looking for, like a total waste of time. So when I was doing my class the other day, Roberta was out here. And there were so many, I can't even tell you how many packages there were to do. This is before I messed up and lost like 15 of them. But she came out here. Every single thing, she found everything. I'm like, okay, this is not a stupid woman. Besides the fact that I already knew that she like did research at Stanford. I mean, she's not stupid, obviously, but that she would like even like I'm not a stupid woman, and I'm the one that put the numbers on them, and I can't figure it out, right? So then what we decided is that we'll do color coding for like, and then staple. I had to buy a stapler and then these things so that we could color code them. So now I know that, like, let's say sell 20, if it's 20, whatever, 27, that, well, we've already been through, so let's say sell 30, that it'll be green. So if I see a green card on there and it says, you know, a lot number, that I know that that wasn't the one that we're doing now, because now I'm on 31, which is pink, right? And I forgot to rip the tag off. But anyway, it'll make things a lot more streamlined. You're like, once again, we would like to hear something really interesting. Could you talk about fiber? Yes. I don't have anything to say about that yet. I'm still on the Roger story. So Roger came over and he brought some of his friends from the OC, as they like to call it, or Newport Beach somewhere. Anyway, I think Newport Beach is in the OC. Anyhow, and it was really awesome, except I had just got done teaching and I was wearing shorts and high heels, you guys. I ate shit so bad. Like, I've fallen off my shoes. Like, I roll my ankle a lot, because that's what happens when you wear heels and you have to balance on 6-inch heels. But this time, right in front of Roberta, I like came off of my deck and like ate shit into the dirt, face into the dirt, like literally. I just met these people. I'm like, oh yeah, hi, and I just met his girl, one of his girlfriends. He's got many. And anyway, I like totally take a header. I had to recover from that, you guys. I had to totally recover from that. It was humiliating. I didn't even tell my husband because it was so humiliating. Totally humiliating. Completely embarrassing. And I was wearing shorts, so I'm sure that, and I don't wear underwear, so sure that was really a great sight. I never asked anybody later. So I know it was embarrassing, but how embarrassing was it? Wink, wink. Right? I just like, I'm like, maybe I'll distract them with the fact that I have a horrible looking hot pink partial in my mouth. It doesn't even matter. But anyway, so the cool thing is that one of the people that came does upholstery in cars. And so he said that he loves to trade, and that I know him from the forum, the Landmark 2. He went there. He's a really nice guy. He brought his daughters here, and he's like, he would love to come here with his daughters and stay, and he'll trade me to upholster my truck. And then I found a guy on Craigslist. You're like, that's a great place to find people. No, but he was only, this is awesome. He's only $30 an hour, and he showed me a bunch of his work. He's really good at like airbrushing, and just he's very artistic, really good guy. And then, and he came here from wherever he lives, Upland or whatever. And he's like, it'll probably be 10 full days worth of work at $30 an hour. And I was like, oh gosh, you know, because I'm going to have to come up with $3,000, right? And so I was like, well, if that's all it takes, then I'm totally willing to do it. You know, I'll come up with the money, knowing that I'm having to sell, right? So, and then he tells me he has a 501c3 for rehabilitating prisoners from like prison, which then told me that he is an ex-con, which I think everybody deserves a second chance. Sometimes people deserve a third chance. No problem with that, right? He seems to know what he's talking about. Like, he's, you know, looking at the engine, talking about the 1940s engine, knows everything. I'm really excited that this guy's going to do it. And then he never calls me again. I know. That's like great. And he could do it. But you know what it did? Totally sparked me. I'm like, my husband actually can do all the work. He actually can. He can do not the body work stuff, because that's not even going to be that hard, really, you know. But I found a place, oddly enough, that is 70 miles away from me that specializes. They have, like he said, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. They specialize in old American-made automobiles from 1937 until, I want to say, 1948, and this is a 1940s truck, 1940. Actually 1940. And so he said, we have parts plenty. And I was like, oh my gosh. He goes, what you do is you're just going to take pictures of the truck, tell me which parts you want, and then I'll find them for you. And then I asked him if he had a re-chromer, because I want to have the grill re-chromed. I want to leave the patina on it and have it clear coated, and then have the grill re-chromed. And he said he has a really inexpensive re-chromer. So I'm hoping, you know, and I don't want this to be one of those projects, you know, when you get a project like we're knitting and then we like, you know, we put it away and then it, 4 years later you go back to it. I don't want that to happen. I want this to like get done. I want this thing to be restored to where it drives, and like the lift that goes 35 feet. It has, I didn't realize this, you guys, it has an engine in the back of the truck. It has an engine in the front to drive it. Then it has an engine that is what makes everything work, the lift, and also and like the pump to pump, you know, the sprayers that are on either side. I mean, it's an absolute, it's an amazing vehicle, and there's not one of these vehicles I've not been able to find one, even something remotely. It's like it was some weird aftermarket thing that you could put on it, but there's none that exist that I can find online. And I have not yet to talk to somebody that knows a lot about trucks that's ever seen another one. And I have like 6 extra tires, and I have every single hose that goes with it. And let me tell you, it's not just the hoses on it that are on it. Like I put pictures up, there's way more hoses than that. It's just the coolest thing. But just let's say that I get it, you know, like really where it's really pretty, you know, but still has the patina, not repainting it. Wouldn't it be like the coolest thing if you were having a wedding? Like if you could go up at 35 feet and like see all of Temecula Valley. Like how cool would that be? Like in my mind, that's just, plus it's a piece of history. And my grandmother always used to say, without people without people treasuring things, there would be no museums, because there would be nothing there, you know, everything would be destroyed. Like you have to take care of things, right? And so anyway, I'm totally into it. And it seems weird that I'd be into it because I'm really not into old cars, but I'm really into this truck because there's some things about it that are special. Like for example, that it can hold 5,000 gallons of water. Well, every gallon of water weighs 9 pounds. So, I mean, I'm sorry, 5,000, I apologize, 500. So it's 500 times 9. That's how much it can hold. Even my dually, my 1-ton dually can't hold that. I mean, this truck is very special. 500 gallons is a lot. So anyway, I'm just impressed with the whole thing. I'm impressed with the engine in the back. I'm impressed with that it can hold all that weight. I'm impressed with that it's so simple. Like you open up the hood and you're like, we're so used to seeing the hood in our cars. You open up the hood and it's like, it looks like there's nothing in there, right? You're like, there probably isn't. And he sold it to you and he's like, yeah, no, it's not going to be no big deal to fix it. And you're like, it doesn't have an engine? No, it has an engine. But it's just so simple in there. It's like super simple. You're like, yeah, well, you fix it and repack the cylinders and tell me how easy it is. Because I think that's one of the things that needs to be done. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to start reading. You guys are like, we're just talking about something that has nothing to do with this because it's totally boring. But it's like restoring something is really cool. Let me see. I'm reading, and you guys are. We are not. You guys are talking. You guys are. Oh wait. I wish we were local. James would help you. Oh my God. Because James knows everything. James does know everything. Let me see. Hi, Eileen and Mary Caldwell. And you guys are talking about. They're talking about pain, but you guys are just listening to me and not really caring. This chick is. Who has a lot of money? I hope you're not talking about me because I don't. You guys are talking about, I'm sorry. The website sounds like a ripoff. Well, can I just tell you, it's the first one when you I mean, it's one of the first ones. But the Knot, I think, is the first one, and the Knot bought them. But they aren't integrated. So, I mean, it's just like this thing, and once again, it's like the nickel and diming. And like, it had at $275, you guys, $275 a month, I would have done it if they don't put you on like the 4th page, and that's what they do. I mean, that's because weddings, and they make you, okay, I would have done it also, even, because then they said, we'll give you a deal for 500 and something a month, but you won't be on, it'll only be for barns and farms, and which is fine. And I would have done it, but they make you commit for a year. Think about that. A year. You sign a contract for a year. I'm like, no way. I'm not doing it. There's no way. I can't. I mean, are you kidding me? Let's see. I'm sure she's talking about you can post pics and ask questions, share the good, the bad, and the killed for Die Secrets in the Die Secrets group. Yes, you can. And then she's talking about the group. And then Diana saying, looking forward to my sale. My mom was saying, no, but I say, screw it, just buy it. No, it is going to be a sale, you guys. No, seriously. Because, like, I need to get rid of stuff. Like, and there's a lot of stuff that I've never even seen some of the stuff. I found it in the UK, you know, like, they're Devon close wool. There's one. And then, of course, I have the Valais black nose, you know, the ones, the really cute sheep with the little horns and the white. Look up Valais black nose. VALAIS. They're like the super cute ones. And I have that. And there's just a bunch of, like I said, Ouissant. And then I have Barachon, which is a French breed. And then I cannot say this because I do not speak French. But it's, it's Rouge de la Just put reschedule or something in your search engine. It'll say the rest of the part. You're like, wow, helpful. And my kids actually speak French because they teach it to them in school. And my son, Connery, is fluent in French. I don't know if he's fluent anymore because he says he's fluent, but of course, Connery will pretty much, he's a great bullshitter, let me just tell you that. He also says he's nice. Ha, 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 ha. But he is still with that girl, that Airbnb girl. And I can't believe it, but I saw her in his trailer, which I'll just say right now. You need to leave his place with like 14 or 15 lint brushes. And then maybe an oxine fogger to get rid of any disease. That trailer was like new when he went in there, and it's like completely destroyed. It's like he is not, and that's part of unmanaged bipolar disorder. It made me sick when I went in there one time, and I just said, and then he comes in our house and like he's uses our stove and our bathroom and our shower, and it's like, you actually have a bathroom and a shower and a full kitchen, but because he destroyed it, it's like, but I'm thinking at this point, I used to feel sorry for the girl. Now I don't feel sorry for her anymore. I'm just like, maybe you can get him medicated. Maybe love's the way. I don't know. There's nothing I can do. And then Mary Caldwell saying maybe take out a small print ad in a San Diego, Orange County area wedding magazine. If I have really good SEO, you guys, I think that's not a bad idea. But I think the SEO, like that would really be that would be really good. So if anybody knows anybody, it's not very expensive, that does SEO that would like really give me a good deal, I'll totally do it, because those people are really specialized and they can really help. I did a lot of things to help my website, not Namaste Farms, but it was Namaste Farms before this version, because I had a different like a shell. And then when I changed them, it like lost everything, and like I got really downgraded, and I didn't do all the things that I could have done, because by then actually I was much more successful and a lot of people knew me. So I was just like, oh well, if I'm not, if I don't come up first when you're asking for fleece or fiber, then who cares, because most of my business is word of mouth, right? Now it's going to be word of mouth where she never shows up and you're going to get your packages 3 weeks later. I mean, it really makes me feel bad, because I had such a great reputation for I do always make things right, though I still have that. But it's really bad when you don't get people's orders out, and you don't even acknowledge the fact that it's taking forever, because I don't even know there's an order. But Roberta has a better way. What she said is, because she's gonna help pack them for me, which is way better, because I don't have the time to go and search them and check them off on the spreadsheet, and she's gonna check them off on the spreadsheet. So that's really what needs to happen. The spreadsheet needs to be, because there's a spreadsheet made, because Kristen's amazing and does a spreadsheet. And so I could just match, the ones I'm doing with the spreadsheet. But I haven't done that because, well, I'm already so I don't want to have to sit there. I'm already having to match it against these sheets. So I print these sheets. They're like packing slips. So of what someone orders, and then, I mark them off as I, making sure they go in the box, right? Still make mistakes, by the way, but there's mistakes I make, like let's say it's lot 28 and the 28, it's sale 28 and lot 28. If I have those, I'll always do something stupid. So I omit the 13th lot. I omit 13th, and then I didn't on this last one, omit the sale number that corresponding to the lot number, because I'll mess that one up too. But anyway, you guys are like, once again, Natalie, we really could care less. The thing that's really cool about doing, buying a bunch of rare breeds, is that it really gives you, because that's the mothership. The UK is the mothership of sheep. And it's very cool to be able, a lot of those that are sold, you're either going to hand card and make Rolags and spin them, or some of them, if they're long wool or long staple, then of course you're going to be able to hand comb them and make hand comb top. But then to spin them and see how they spin differently, and they feel how differently they feel. And then I always have a point of reference. If it's a medium wool, then I think about the other medium wools and compare it in my mind to how it feels. And even though it's just one animal that's represented in whatever you buy, it sort of gives you an idea, because you'll look at the fleece and then you go online and look at the animal. And that's a really important thing to do, because not every fleece you have is representative. I try to buy only fleeces from people that raise the breed, that they raise many of the breed, so that whatever I get should be representative of the breed. But that's happened. Like I've found like something that I've loved. One of my favorite, you guys, I have in this one is Beulah's Speckle Face. Oh my God. Beulah's Speckle Face is like putting your hands in cream. It is, I am so in love with Beulah Speckle Face. The other one is the Beaumont. Beaumont is really good. So those are breeds that we don't have here. So if you go to the sale, you really would like to buy the Beulah Speckle Face or the Beaumont fleece. Such nice fleece, shorter stable fleece, but they're like next to skin soft. But the Beulah Speckle Face is like cream. It's, oh my gosh, and it washes up so beautifully. It's like one of my favorite. It's like probably one of my favorite like odd breeds. It's really up there. It's up there. And then I do have Hog Island, which is of course from the United States. But there's just like I have a bunch of rare breeds that are I think it's very cool to have them, and so I buy them. The other one that's oh God, it's not Devon Cornwall, but it's very similar to Devon Cornwall. See, what is the name of this breed? I'll have to, but I have it in here, and it's really weird. It's like kind of like a long wool, but it is considered a long wool, but it's really weird. It's kind of like the equivalent of it's coarse like a like the Scottish blackface, but it's very curly. These C curls. It's crazy, but it picks up dye amazingly well. So I mean, it's these kind of things. There's several of them. I want to say there's probably like 10 rare breeds, and it's really good to. And then I have CVM, the California Variegated Mutant, which CVM Rommeldale. That's from obviously the United States. And there's just like I have a lot of. It's really good. Like and truthfully, like I'll be some of these like I won't even have found the tag, and I know what they are because I have had in my hands in so many fleeces. And you start to become really good, and part of becoming really good at identifying fleeces is seeing a lot of different types of fleece. And then you can like arrive at your own decisions about what you really like. I mean, some people really like the process of like hand carding and making roll lags. I mean, Trisha's one of them. Trisha's really a great technician. She's really good, and she's a great spinner, and she's a great knitter, and just an all-around fiber artist. She's really innovative, and that's the thing. A lot of people only do things that they have permission to do, and I say don't wait for someone's permission. Just try new things. Like you don't have to spin your hand comb top in a short forward draw. I don't. I actually do like a backward draw because I don't like to put kinks in my yarn, so I'm really careful about doing. I don't really do a short forward draw. Because there's usually these tiny little artifacts that you can see from the pushing, right? Because a lot of people, they end up pushing when they're doing a short forward draw. And so I'm not a huge fan of it, right? But I don't consider a lot of people would say, since I'm not doing a short forward draw, that's technically not a true worsted. And I'm just like, okay, if you can't look at that yarn and tell me whether or not I did a short forward draw or not, it's worsted. That's just the way it is. Because I'm not like, when we were young, people my age, I'm 57 almost, and we used to, like, there's this book, this character, Amelia Bedelia, how, like, you'd say, dress the turkey, and she'd put clothes on it, like she was totally literal, right? I'm not this person that, I think it's ridiculous to be ridiculous about rules. Like, yes, if you could tell that it wasn't a short forward draw, agree. But if no one can look at it and tell me it's not a short forward draw, then it's a worsted, a true worsted. Because technically, for those of you who don't know, that worsted yarns in the spinning world, this is not in the yarn world. The worsted yarns are, it's a spinning technique with a fiber prep, combined with a fiber prep. So if you don't do the spinning technique with the fiber prep, then it technically to those people who are these like literal Amelia Bedelia people will be like, that's not a true worsted. And it's like, baby, if you can't tell, who cares, right? Let's just be like, instead of being literal, why don't we be actually logical? Like, I like logic way better than literal, right? And I'm that way with anything. Like, when somebody, you know, if you have to be the exception to the rule, so what would be the exception to the rule in my mind that makes sense? Okay, the exception to the rule that would make sense to me is somebody, if it says, if the thing says, somewhere says that nobody can park in this area. Nobody can park in this area. And, or stop, no stopping and loading and unloading in this area, and you have a disabled person, of course you can stop and load and unload in this area. Right there. I mean, there's an exception to the rule. There's always an exception to the rule, right? I mean, and so I am that person that is like, you know, people have to make it. But I know all of us have met people that are just like, there are no exceptions. And it's like, that is ridiculous to be literal, right? Of course there's an exception. Because I can probably think of an exception for every single, you know, situation where someone says there are no exceptions. Anyway, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Let me see. You're like, wow, this is really riveting conversation. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down and then scroll up. And then you guys are show so many wildfires spilling Falkland, which I love Falkland because those sheep they are selective breeding, like icons because they're fine wool, but they can live in an environment where fine wool shouldn't be able to live. Let's see. And then Valerie says she's working on the blossom for me, my first dyeing project. It should dye really well. And Beaumont that's exactly how you spell Beaumont. Bowmont. And then Ike was saying, what are all the different animals? I don't know if he's talking to me, but I have sheep, mostly sheep, like sheep and goats, Angora goats, and Teeswater, Wensleydale, and Corriedale sheep is what I have. And then I have horses, and I have a cow, and I have turkeys, and, you know, meat chickens, and then I have laying hens. I have some Rhode Island Red. I have a lot of game chickens, like, because the game birds they're feral enough that they can live without getting killed by the coyotes or the possums because they roost so high. And they have they nest way, way high. They're just really interesting to watch. Like, when they have their chicks, you guys, these game birds, this is no shit. The chicks, so they roost on the second story. The hen gets down to the bottom and she clucks to them to make them jump off the second story. That's not the part that's thrilling, because wood ducks do that too. What she does is, like, if she sees, like, if I walk by here, you'll see all these chick heads, like 20 chick heads, and they hit the dirt. They go down, and you can't even see them in the lawn. It's the most primitive thing that they do. It's crazy. And then one head will pop up, another head. You literally can't see them. It's crazy. I sometimes do it just because it's so fascinating. Like, I'll walk by on purpose and watch them. The mother doesn't say anything to them. They just go shomp, and they're in the ground. It's crazy. Love them. And I love them. The thing that I don't love, so I have this one that I've told you, I'm sure that he's insane, and he tries to attack. You know, I have one sheep pen, I call it the rock pen, and he lives in that rock pen with his sheep. They're his sheep. He loves these sheep. He never attacks them. The second I come in, I feel something on the back of my head or something on the back of my legs, and they've got spurs, I'm telling you, like this, right? And so I found 2 roosters dead right by the gate because of him. He doesn't even care about hens. He never leaves that pen. Those are his, as far as he's concerned, those are his hens. Those sheep. But a rooster comes in there to, like, eat, that rooster's going to be dead. Crazy, huh? He's a killer. He's like 6 or 7 years old. I keep hoping he'll die, but he doesn't, damn it. Let's see. And Trishy's talking about making a blending board with a cutting board and a foot of carding cloth. Actually, you know what, Trishy, I can get carding cloth really in a really good card. You probably can. I mean, I know obviously you have a source, but I can get it when I make my next order from England. But I just made one, a really big one too. I mean, it was really big. It was like a few grand. But I just got the last bundle in that's sitting outside. You're like, that's a great place for it. I don't even know what's in there. I need to open it. But I'm going to. Let's see. Holly, the blossom's really cool. I'm reading, I'm sorry. I love Cormo. Mary Wildflower, I have blending boards that I can sell you at wholesale because I bought a bunch of ones at wholesale because I needed them for a class. And so I have, like, I think 4 or 5 of them. So if you really want a blending board that bad and you don't want to pay retail, then, I mean, I don't think the markup's that much, but I can sell one to you that was only used once in a class. Let's see. I'm reading. And then Jacinda's saying, and in the barn fairs, put up a posted for the farm wedding. Well, what I need to do, you guys, okay, how stupid am I? First of all, for my 501c3 for agriculture, I need to, because like the teaching, so you know, the teaching, like I love to teach people, but I can't take the time to teach people because I don't even have enough time to get my orders out properly, right? So that's why having a 501c3 too is because that's, then it, you know, then I can do things like gift, you know, spots, you know, into like things that, you know, like the dyeing courses, or even like, you know, at Stitches, which I obviously am not making the money, but Stitches is, but, you know, and there's tuition that can be done, etc. And there's other ways of, you know, being able to make revenue, right? And have people be able to benefit from that. But I need to put like little things in the cottages, right? Where like barn farm weddings, you know, available for barn farm weddings. But see, the thing is that's cool is that you know, right now I only have pictures of my farm, but I will have after this weekend pictures of a wedding. So that's going to be very helpful. And because, you know, it's pretty hard to advertise that you have weddings when you don't have any pictures of weddings. And I'm telling you, the weddings are so expensive here. Like you know, it's 50 people is like, you know, the starting price is like, I want to say it's between 7 and 10 grand. And then that doesn't include the food or the wine or anything. And you have to buy the food and wine through them, through the, whatever the venue is. So, I mean, it's like you're talking, and, you know, I've been married for a really long time, and, you know, but I feel like spending that kind of money on a wedding when you're just starting out is like ludicrous. Like people could use that for a down payment on their house. Right? You know, and I'm the first one. I love being married. I never want to be divorced. I think being single is like something that's really scary, and I would never want that. Right? And so despite, you know, and everybody has their ups and downs, right? But being married is amazing to me. You know, you have your built-in best friend, someone that you can always count on, and, you know, would you be more close with than someone that you've had children with? It does break my heart when I see, you know, people that are having these horrible divorces because they loved each other once. Like that's the hardest thing, you know, to look and know that they were once in love and now, and not that people shouldn't get divorced. People should get divorced, especially, you know, when there's abuse, right? But it just is hard because, you know, at one point they were absolutely smitten with each other, and it's just sad. Just sad. It's sad for everybody. It's sad for the children because I had, you know, my parents fought horribly. They hated each other. But even I remember being just gutted and feeling like completely insecure when they were getting, you know, when they got a divorce. But in some ways, I think, you know, some children, especially if there's like that, crying wolf, like there people are constantly going, we're going to get a divorce, children, and they're going to talk about it, and then they never get a divorce. It's like, that's so hard on the children. That's what my parents did. They were always going to get a divorce, and then they never did get a divorce, and they would continue fighting. And I mean, that went on for years and years and years. And then I remember at one point, I mean, they fought really bad. And I remember at one point, my mom was thinking about having another baby, and I remember actually thinking, and I think I was only 11 years old. Oh my God. This is not a good idea. Like, I remember thinking that, even though I would love to have had a baby brother or sister. Sorry, someone just pulled up and I wondered, my daughter. I love my daughter. She has a job, right? She has a job working in it's like a convalescent hospital. And I don't know that car. But, and it's a nice car. But she said, she's like, my rear tire, I need a new rear tire. And I was like, yeah, and that's what your paycheck is for. Oh, well, I don't have my paycheck yet. Okay, well, I don't mind covering you, but when you get your paycheck, I want the entire thing. Because she uses my credit card for her gas too, which of course, you know, when you do that, then they take their friends everywhere they ever want to go. But because, you know, it's harder when you have a daughter that's dead, you know, you end up like, you don't want to pick battles with your last one, right? So, but she's 18 in less than 30 days. So it's like, really? Because this is the way it's going to work. And quite frankly, you don't have to live here as much as I love you. There are alternatives. If you think paying for your gas and your tire is a bummer, wait till you have to pay for rent and insurance, baby. Right? The reality of life confunks you. And I said it, well, I actually did tell her, I said, you're the first person to complain about to complain about your brother. Sean, I'm just going to say right now, Sean, there's someone out front. I can see him, and they look like they're looking for something. And I don't want to... My husband's probably like watching like politics or something on television. Why is there a person out front? My dog will eat them if they walk in this, though. But the good... I want to tell you about Lacey, too. Hang on. I'm just going to have to go for a second. You guys amuse yourselves. You're doing a great job. Oh, you guys, it's so funny. So you, if you're still there, you guys probably left. You're like, she's so boring. So these people are out. You're like, except for it wasn't boring when her shirt came down. So I go out there, and just as I'm walking out there, and my heels are completely aerating the soil, my son, my 60-year-old son, is walking, and I said, Dane, get out there and ask these people what they need. And he's like, are you sure that's safe? I said, I don't care if it's safe or not. Get out there. My son's like, wow, she's willing to sacrifice me. Yes, as a matter of fact, I am. Just get out there and ask them what they want. Said if they're Airbnb, tell them to go around the side. That's that. I mean, for God's sake, what's going to happen? I'm like, it's right here. I mean, they're not going to steal him. I don't know. He does look like a girl, though. So Ibrahim came the other day, and he's like, and your little daughter, she was so sweet. Your daughter, she came out here, and I was like, actually, that was my son. He's like, no, it was a girl. I was like, no, it's a boy. He's like, no, it was a girl. I was like, what did he look like? And he's like, she had really long blonde hair, and she's very thin, and about this tall. And I was like, that's a Dane, and that's a boy. It was really cute. Ibrahim, he's just so funny. Yeah, we got a bunch of pallets of stuff. Oh, so many pallets. I got more dog food. Okay, so Lacey, what happened with Lacey? So it actually was, I think it's ruined one of my friendships. I'm so pissed off about it. Because, like, I will do, like, if you're in my inner circle, I see, like, I may not answer your text or something, but if you need something, I'm a throw down bitch. Like, I will, like, anything you need, I will do it. You need, even if I don't have money and you need to borrow money, I will lend money. Like, I'm just like, whatever you need, I know that you wouldn't ask me if you didn't really need it, right? So, like, I have a friend who's a vet, and she went to college with me. She does, you know, she's really nice. And, like, I've given her Louis Vuittons, like, a couple of them, like, my, you know, really expensive things because she's such a good friend. I had, like, a high, that was given to me by a boyfriend. I gave it to her. You know, it was, like, 18 karat gold, like a big chain, and, like, it was expensive. And, I love her. And so, I have, my dog, now that she has diabetes, I checked her blood sugar a couple times, you know, with this, and I hate it because it's a stick. You have to stick her, and their skin is really thick, and it says to do it in the ear. I tried doing it in the ear. That doesn't work. So I had to, like, make a sore on her back so that I didn't have to keep sticking her. Because you know, so she's got this sore on her back so that I can get blood, you know, and I'm checking her blood sugar, and it's up at, like, 600, you guys. 600, that's when your blood turns to, like, syrup. With the protocol that I have, her blood sugar, when I check it, is around 600. That is obviously not managing her blood sugar. I'm talking to my friend Roger about it, and he's like, you have to talk to my girlfriend, not girlfriend literally, but my friend Kristen, because Kristen's dog is diabetic, and she manages her dog's diabetes amazingly well. So I say, okay, well, you know, I feel really weird calling this woman that I don't know, who's got this, you know, doctor husband that's successful, and, you know, I just don't want to bother her. But anyway, but I call because I'm a little bit desperate, right? Because, you know, nobody, you know, Leah that's not her specialty, and nobody, I don't want to, you know, I just want to get this managed, right? So I call Kristen. She says, you know, she tells me that she has this monitor, the Libre, the 14-day Libre. So, and they're made by Abbott, which there's a big Abbott, you know, manufacturer here in Temecula. But anyway, so it's the sensor that just sticks on them for 14 days, and you just put the reader over it, so you don't have to keep sticking them. So I can check her blood sugar constantly, and I can adjust her insulin to that and her eating to that. So I guess it's similar. You'd be managing her more like a human, but if I'm not going to, either I'm going to put her down or I'm going to manage it, because I'm not going to have my dog. I don't have time to manage this dog by sticking her, because I can't tell you how many times I stick her and then I get an error reading for whatever reason, and then I have to it makes me so sick that this is what this dog has to go through, and she's not managed, right? So Kristen is really good. She's I can't even believe how nice this woman is to spend so much time with me about this dog. She'll write me first thing in the morning, what's her blood sugar, and then I'll have to put the thing in, and get blood on the thing, and then send it to her. Well, anyway, so I asked my friend, who's the one that prescribes the insulin. I said, hey, I have this friend, and I really want to get this blood glucose, and they just made it have to have a prescription this year, right, in June, and in other countries that you don't have to. Why would you have to have a prescription for a fucking reader? It's not an opiate, but they made it so you have to have a prescription. So anyway, I asked my friend, because I know it's going to be no big deal. All my medications, I come from her for my sheep, right? So anyway, I write her, go, Leah, my friend, I have a friend, and she's, to get, and Leah doesn't know a lot. She's just give her 5 units 20 minutes after eating, and feed her twice a day. That's the protocol, right? Well, it's not working, because my dog's blood sugar is at 600, right? So I tell her, I really need one of these readers. Can you please send one in to Walmart for me? I've never had her ever, and she just written me and said, hey, I want to come stay at your place. Do you, when would it be convenient? And I was like, well, anytime, just tell me. And I was like, hey, by the way, I need this reader. And she's like, I don't think I feel comfortable, prescribing that. I don't know anything about it for animals. And I asked my assistant. Her assistant's had 2 years of fucking school. I've had 8. So I'm just you asked your assistant. I put in Google. It is widely used for dogs. She says, my assistant says it's not suitable for dogs, and that the human blood sugar is completely different than it. Yes, that is true. That it's the range is different, but the reader reads it, and I don't have to keep an open wound on my dog. Now, I don't have to keep scraping her 14 times a day to try to figure out how much she needs and when she needs it, right? And her blood isn't going to be. I couldn't even get blood from her when her blood sugar was at 605. There was no blood. There was nothing. There was no way to get it. So anyway, she actually said no, and I literally was wow, we've been really good friends, and you say you don't feel. No, but you can give me tramadol. You can give me whatever for my animals, but you can't prescribe a blood sugar reader. I was pissed. And then she didn't even have the decency. And she doesn't even do a Google search. There's peer-reviewed journals on how the Libre system is great for dogs. There's ones, the veterinarian putting them on the dogs. You didn't even have the decency to put it in Google, you lazy bitch. Seriously, I'm I don't give it. I'm that's how I am too. When someone does me wrong like that, I'm fuck you. I'm done. Because I would do anything for her. Literally anything. She needed to stay here when she was doing a residency for 3 weeks. I was fine, you can stay here. I'm just that person. I really am. I'm super generous, believe it or not. And I was disgusted. And she's like, why? What's going on with your dog? It's why would I tell you? You don't even know. And she's like, and you just got done saying we don't manage it. You just basically make a blanket thing. Well, quite frankly, I'll just put her down then. Because if you don't want to help me this is the thing. You don't even know. So why would I go to you? And this lady knows, this is her whole life, is this Cavalier King Charles. And this woman, really does know. She knows. She wants to know my dog's blood sugar, many times during the day. And then she tells me, okay, now I'll give her 0.5 units. And now I'll give her, and to try to get it to where it's in a normal range rather than I did what, it was at 605. And then I gave her, the 5 units that I'm supposed to give her. I fed her and gave her 5 units. And it, in maybe 5 minutes, it shot down to 352, that quick, 5 minutes, plummets that. The dog, that's not, I know not everybody knows a lot about blood sugar, but you can't plummet that, it needs to go down gradually. You can't just keep making these spikes, right? And so that was anyway, it ended up that I got one not from Leah, but I put it on her today. So I'm hoping things are going to be better. She's only 10, 9 or 10. Wait, I got her in 2013, and she was 5. So she's 10. And she is, you know, other than that, she's like healthy. Other than being blind from diabetes and having diabetes, she's like healthy. She's not like, so I can, you know, it breaks my heart that I'm going to put her down because I can't manage her blood sugar and I don't want her to suffer, right? I mean, that just makes me sick. So anyway, another one bites the dust, as they say. Like, I'm just like done. D-O-N-E. That was another thing that really made me mad yesterday. I was like, and then your friends aren't your friends. It's like heartbreaking. Okay, I'm looking. Let me see. And then people are talking, we go through things like this with rabbits all the time. We had to put one to sleep a few weeks ago because we could not get a script for antibiotics, so he had to die at a year old. Oh my God. Raw meat diet, hamburger with carrot and ginger will cure a lot of things. He sells freeze-dried food, but it's expensive. Yeah, she's not, it's type 2, it's type 1. She's not making insulin. So, and then Linda says it seems like you need a script for everything. It's the FDA is the one that made that rule, just out of the blue. But you know what? Remember when you had to have, like, a prescription? Okay, I love that you don't have to have a driver's license to vote, but you have to have one to get pseudoephedrine. Are you kidding me? Like, I have to give my driver's license to get something to clear my nose? I mean, please. And I know why, but it's like not every... So we have to be penalized because of criminals? Are you really serious? Okay, we need scripts for needles for my insulin. It's really because you can just get them for free here at Walmart. That's the one thing. And then she says, who would buy pen needles if you didn't need it? It's so stupid. And then Valerie says, that's heartbreaking. No, I'll tell you, it really hurt my feelings. And it's the one thing it did, it made me feel like I'm overwhelmed with... I'm going to start crying. I'm going to try not to. I'm overwhelmed already. And then my friend, like, I'm asking her for something that's like, how do you not feel comfortable prescribing a monitor for diabetes? I'm sorry. Am I the dick or are you the dick? Well, you know what? I quite frankly don't need friends like that. When I call you and I need something, you don't have the decency. You text it to me. I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you? You stay in my house. You know my kids. You've been on my television show. Are you kidding me? You know, I mean, I honestly, like it really, I've noticed that that's not the only friend that there are. I have a couple of friends that literally, that it's really easy. It's hard to weed the ones that you've had for a really long time, because you just realize that you can't count on them when you need them. And that's just the way it is. And so she's not, her I'll just get rid of. I don't give a fuck, right? I mean, she's been my friend for like 15 or 16 years, but I mean, honestly, fuck you, right? You don't have the decency to give me a call. Like, so, but you know what? The one thing is, I'll tell you this right now, that she will need something. And it's like, what could she possibly need from me? Because one of the things is if you work for a 501c3, you don't have to pay back. You get like on your school, like loans, student loans for vet school, you get like a pass on, like, they give you for however many years you work, there's like some sort of a thing where they give you a pass on that where you don't have to pay that back. So believe me. And I'll just be like, yeah, and what about the monitor? Because it makes me sick. And I'm going to be the first one to say, I may not return somebody's call because I keep thinking I'm going to call them back. As soon as I do this, then somebody's sick, you know, an animal's sick, and then one's having a baby, and then Airbnb just came, and then the next day comes, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to call this person back. That's what happens. And then I'm like, okay, I really need to call this person. It gets bumped, and then I forget. Right? So I am the first person. But the SOS calls, Natalie, I need your help. Those ones, I don't bump. But if it's just like, hey, checking in on you, those ones I bump. Because I don't have time to, like, tell them how shitty my life is, right? And who wants to hear how shitty your life is? Sometimes, like, you're in a place in your life where you feel like you have nothing to offer people. I know everybody's been there. Or, like, you feel like you have nothing to like, you're so, like, your life sucks so bad that you're just going to be sounding like you're a whiner, right? And I don't want to do that either. Like, so, you know, I'm like, if you really want to know what's going on, maybe go to my vlog on Tuesday night, sometimes Wednesday, if my husband and I are getting frisky. You're like, we don't really get, but that's like literally my one shining light right there is I feel so loved, like, by him. And it's so, It's like amazing, and it makes me feel validated, and it makes me feel, it just is good. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. It's like makes up for everything. But you know, it is crappy when you can't. And I know we've all been there. We've all been there where people have really disappointed us. And I do have high standards for my friends. I have to be honest with you. I do, because but I hold myself to the same standard. I'm reading your thing because I know people are sympathetic, or you're just talking to each other about something else. Because you're like, could we move on, please? And then I can see where the reader would be. I don't know. It depends on how big your cat is, because she has hers on a Cavalier King Charles. He weighs like 18 pounds, and it seems to be fine. The reader, you know, the thing's about that big around. So, and then Linda says, that would piss me off too, dumper, yeah. And then Valerie says, very few friends in life, many acquaintances. Right, but she was a friend. A monitor is not a drug. And then Mary's saying she'd be angry too. And then Samantha says, I tell James all the time, it's easier to not have friends than to have them. And then Linda says, that's horrible. I love you, Linda, because now you're like, okay, this bitch is not going to be talking about fiber. I did for a minute, did you see? I talked about, I talked about the handcomb top and the worsted and the woolen. And then Sutton Gully says, that sucks when you think you have a friend and they show you otherwise. It always hurts when that happens. It is very painful. It really hurt my feelings. And then Christine says she's late, and she says, hi, Natalie. And then Mary says, we love you. And then it says one is held for review, but I don't care. We are your therapist, Ike says, thank you. And yeah, but I don't want to complain, you know, but I don't want to complain when I'm on here. But, you know, it's just part of my life. It's just the stuff that goes on. But other than that, you know, my place is looking amazing because of the guy that I paid $10 an hour to. I'm so like sad that Connery met him in recovery. Connery is his sponsor. So it's sad that at 16 he's in recovery. I'm proud of him that he's in recovery, but I would have never met him because nobody else is going to work for $10 an hour. So I think I've paid, you know, at this point, I think I've paid him probably like $600, you know, I think it's probably worked 6 days or something, 7 days. But he's got our place. I mean, he just digs for a 16-year-old kid, man, he digs his head in and he just like works. Like that's hard to find because, I mean, not in the Midwest probably because there's a work ethic, right? But we're talking about, you know, a city. Like, I mean, Temecula is, I don't know, it's 130,000, I think, 130, somewhere around there. And it's connected to Murrieta, which is another, I think it's probably got similar amount. I mean, they're like literally connected. You don't know where one starts and where one ends if they didn't say, you know, you're now in Murrieta, right? And so, you know, I think work ethic is like not as strong in city folk, to be honest with you. And I think there's people like me that were just born with a work ethic, like nervous energy. And it was actually, though, I shouldn't say that. It was drilled into my head to being lazy was like a cardinal sin. Like to be lazy was something. And I learned it in kind of a different way. I'll never forget that my grandmother, my grandmother on my father's side, my father's mother, had known my mother even when she was in like, I want to say like in grammar school. And she didn't like my mother sometimes. And I can see why, because my mother was weird, right? And I will never forget, I was probably 6 years old and I heard her say, your mother is incredible. She's so lazy and her butt's as big as this table. That's what she said. Her butt's as big as this table. And my grandmother was really actually a very classy woman. But for her to say something like that, like it made a deep impression in me. And then like when she would criticize people, it would be about their laziness. It would always be about their laziness. It would be like, they are so lazy. And that way, that just imprinted me as a child. And I wasn't even around my grandmother that much, but it imprinted me as a child that you could never be lazy. And so like, and that actually, she did me a favor. She really did, because I'm not lazy. The one thing I'm not lazy. And that is upsetting to me sometimes too, because I feel like people are thinking that maybe I'm, you know, like doing California things, like going to the beach and not doing their order, or I'm like going out to lunch with my girlfriends, but that is not the case, believe me. Like even when Roger watches this sometimes, and so Roger wrote me and he said, I'm so glad to see you took time off to be with your husband, which isn't really taking time off, because I would get up, you know, we get up earlier so that we can work, and then we could stop at like 4, and then we can be together, because if I stop at like 6, I'm too By 6, I'm not in the mood anymore, to be honest with you. And now I'm tired. But if we stop at 4, I still have enough energy. Like, I'm really excited and really happy that we get to be together. And a lot of what I do, to be honest with you, and I was telling Allison LaFane, this today when I was talking to her, I said, I make my husband, like, you know, we take a shower and we get ready and everything. And I make him talk to me. Like, I just want, like, I'll just lay down on the bed and I'll just, like, stare at him and just make him talk. And just connect, like we don't, like, get frisky. It's not like this, like, clothes flying off. It's more of just, like I just want to connect, you know, and really know him. And sometimes I ask questions, like, things that I've never asked him in the 20-something years that we've been together. Like, I just love that, being, like, this far away and connecting, you know. It's with the person that you love. And then finding things that you don't know about them. And, you know, because when you're there, you know, and you've had a beer or two, and then the person's, you know, you're kind of vulnerable. And so sometimes they'll tell you things you don't know about them. And it's just interesting. It's just fun. Like, I'm really kind of pretty deep person. Like, each and every one of you, if you were here, I'm the exact person that I am. Like, every person that ever meets me says, you are exactly the same person online as in person. There's no differentiation. Like Linda, like, she's met me before. And anybody that has and will say that. I'm the same person. The difference would be is that I really want to know the people. I want, you know, and it's hard when I'm in a working situation because I have to do my job, so I don't get to. But, like, you know, Roberta or anybody that started out being a student and that, you know, spends time with me, like, I genuinely want to know about the person and, like, really connect with them and know, like, the way that they think and what makes them tick. So that would be like every one of you. I'd want to know the way that you think and, you know, how you feel about your family and how you feel about, like really, you know, all things, like your worldview. Is I'm very interested in people's worldview. And what's funny is you can be like, you can know someone like for 26 years, like my husband, and you know, there are still parts of his worldview that I don't know. Or you could know someone like for 16 years, like my friend Leah, and I just found this out about her, right? Like, there's these things, you know, that are distasteful, and there's things that, you know, you're always trying to, I don't think you can ever really know someone. You really can't. Like, there's just not enough questions, or a lot of time we're not mature enough to give a person an answer for a question. You know, you guys are like, wow, this is so deep. Did she eat mushrooms or something right beforehand? No, I'm just, like, literally talking about, I guess my worldview is that, you know, I like deep relationships, really deep. That's my thing. I don't like superficiality. I'm not into it. I'm just not into superficial relationships. And people that can't be deep, I typically won't be really good friends with them. If they're a very superficial type of person, then we probably won't have a relationship. Because that's not how I roll. As we say in the hood, at 34355 D Portola Road, the hood, you know, filled with, like, hood cows and hood sheep. You know, city sheep. Anyway, okay, let's see. And then Diana said, yes, you are the same. And Samantha said, yeah, I would say that. And then Linda says, I'm super to no, I'm not super to let you into my life. Not super. You guys are super for even caring, because I actually think, I'll say to my husband one other, I think these people are like, she is so boring. I do think that. Okay, I'm gonna give away yarn today to somebody, and let me see what I have, because I had some stuff that didn't sell. You're like, great, you want to give us something that didn't sell. It's gonna be something or something, because somebody just wrote Roberta and said, did she sell that? Because I wanted some. So it's going to be, it might not be it, because if they wanted this one, then it'll be the other one. Let me look. And for some reason, I don't know why these didn't sell, because I'm just going to tell you they're amazing. They just probably didn't look very good in the pictures. So, and the one person usually likes pink, so I think probably she didn't. I'm trying to find which one. Okay. So, let's see. And you guys, it took me a really long time to do this. So, or should I break these up? I don't know. Let's see. And if not, you guys are just hearing me talk. Actually, maybe I should give you, I'm going to give mohair away, some mohair. Okay, I'm going to give mohair away. That's very tasty. Hang on. Maybe not. This one, I loved this one. It might be this one. Okay, it's one of these. Okay, so I think that I love this yarn, and this wasn't for sale. This actually, I used some of it, you guys, but I think the same yarn hang on, is in, ouch, that hurt my leg. Let's see, the same yarn type. Let me see, I didn't cut it. It just looks really messy because I used some of it for something and I can't remember what it was. So it's not a full hank, but it's really cool. But the other component is this one, which is a full hank. Let me see. And I don't think this goes with the other one, does it? Let me make sure that this doesn't go with this. I don't think it goes with this. I just have to make sure it doesn't go. No, it doesn't. I don't know what this does go with. So here, so it's this. So here, it's this. So this one and this one. This will have to be an accent. And so this is, just let me look at it, it's the same weight. It's different yarn, but it's the same weight. This, well, actually one looks like a little bit, both of them are fingering, but one looks a little heavier. But it would be the X, but it would go great together. These two yarns would go great together. So it'll be this. That's what someone's getting. So I'm going to pick. Last time was painful because I had to go through so many. So say yes if you want this yarn. And then I would love you to hang out with me. Hi, Lois. I love Lois. Lois, I'm the same person, aren't I? That you meet. Like if you see me here, I'm like the same. When you meet me, I'm not a different person. I'm like the same Natalie. I just swear probably a little more in person. Okay, so ooh, you like the colors. I love Lois. Lois, I absolutely love. And you know why I love Lois? Besides the fact that she's a tremendously talented artist, because Lois loves me. I mean, I like when someone like truly loves you. Like I really feel like Lois truly loves me. She came and she did a VIP retreat here, and but I knew her before that. I'd met her before that. But Lois is awesome. She's a tremendously talented artist. I'm not kidding you. And she went to school for singing. And I love her because she said, and she's like studied with someone really, really famous. And you're like, who is that person? I don't remember who it was, but it was this really famous person. And I said, oh my gosh, that's so impressive because like I can't sing at all. She's like, oh yes, you can. Everybody can sing. And I'm like, no, actually, I really can't sing. I have no range whatsoever. And I hear it, but it does not come out of my pipes. It's probably from all that screaming I did when I was young and still do sometimes. I get shrill. When I get pissed off, I get very shrill. Okay, I'm going with the Ophelia. Ophelia, you're cute. I do love mushrooms. And I'm not going to lie. And I'm not talking about the kind that are legal. Lois is saying, yes, absolutely the same. That's true. I do love you. I am the same. I'm the exact same person. Like you wouldn't be like, and I have met people, that I've seen online and that are fiber artists that like do videos, and then I meet them and they're not the same person because a lot of them are introverted. And then online, when they're doing like their videos or whatever, they don't seem introverted because there's nobody in the room with them. But then when you meet them, they're introverted. And so then it's kind of like they seem unfriendly because a lot of introverted. I love introverts, by the way. I'm very drawn to them. And but a lot of the time introverts seem aloof. But it's because they feel uncomfortable. They have social anxiety. And then you're like, wow, that's weird because you seem like you're so forthcoming in your video and now you're not. Okay, so everybody's saying, can I do a farm tour? I don't think you live around me, but you can do a farm tour. Let's see. 1, 2. Okay, I'm starting with let me just, so I don't do it twice, I'm just going to go ahead and put 25 in the generator, random number generator. I'm going to put 35. 35. Generate 26. Let's see, and you guys, it's like really, if I let's see, I got to start from thank you, Valerie. She loves Yarnitarian. I'm trying to see. At Skate in Drake 85. Hi, it's Bryce. Bryce, what is this? Bryce Wonders. Bryce Wonders. And then Christina, I would love to meet you. I'd love to meet you in person too. And I believe you are a deep and down-to-earth person. And then Hexenwald Ranch, hi. And then Jacinda says that too. She'd love to meet me in person. I would love to meet you in person. And then actually sometime I should do a thing. I will do a thing actually for all you guys that are on here all the time. If anybody like can do and only a few would actually be able to come because I know how it is. It's expensive to come to California, but I would do a free retreat for you guys. And everybody on here would be able to come for free. And you could I'll teach you something. I want the top in the middle bin next to you. I keep looking at the top in the middle bin. Oh, that is going to be in the sale. That is going to be in the sale, by the way. That is, I want to say it's Blueface Leicester and silk. It's Blueface Leicester silk. And it's very bright, by the way. Let's see. I'm trying to find where it starts, where you guys start. Okay, yes, gorgeous. Look how beautiful, lovely. Oh, okay, colors are awesome. So it's going to start with Christine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What I did, you guys, is if I saw your name twice, I might not have caught everybody's name twice. Uh-oh, hang on. Then I took it out. Let me count one more time. So I have to get to 26. I started at Christine. I think it's Jane Campbell. So Jane Campbell, you are, from what I see, the winner. So Jane, let one person. Remember, I kept going. I couldn't remember. I thought it was Saddle, but the one it actually was someone else, and they were not happy that they didn't get it. But I had it here because I just kept holding it because I didn't have the address. But they had written me, but I didn't see it because I've said that if you guys don't CC Kristen, I will miss it. It's possible because I get like 300 emails a day. So the person did get their yarn. It was the one that I sent out. Remember, it was the one with Amber. Amber got hers right away, but the other person, I didn't see the email. So you have to be persistent and know that if I don't respond to you, it's not because I'm rude. It's because I didn't see your message. And because I would never do like a giveaway and not give you the giveaway ever. So legitimately, it's because I like skim my emails. And so you write info at, the easiest one is info at Wool Shampoo because I don't have to spell Namaste Farms, but info at woolshampoo.com. And then you put in the heading winner Yarnitarian, the subject, and then you CC Kristen, which would be Kristen at readingmethod.com, Kristen at readingmethod.com. And so, and it's Kristen, Kristin, not E-N, Kristin. So, my dear, let me just look really quick again because I have already purged that out of my, okay, Jane Campbell. So, Jane Campbell, I need you to please write me with your info at woolshampoo.com and give me your address, and I will send you this yarn. And I will be happy to send you it. And I will send it to you in the next couple of days. And so if you don't hear back from me, because what you would do is once I get your, because you'll send it to me via email, and then I'll have your email. When I generate the label, it's going to send you that I shipped it. So you're going to know. But I'm also going to write you and say thank you so much, and you'll be getting like a shipping notification, and then you'll get your yarn. So anyway, you guys, so I'm going to go. It's so hot in here. I'm sweating buckets. But I love you guys so much. And thank you for letting me bend your ear tonight. It was a little depressing because I was a little... Yesterday I was like done with life. I was like, this sucks. But tonight I'm better because I'm with you guys. Anyway, I will see you hopefully next Tuesday. It'll be Wednesday if my husband's home. I'm going to warn you ahead of time. But you'll see it because you'll see it on the thing. I'll do the same thing I always do, note time change or day change to Wednesday. If he's off on Tuesday, I'll spend it with him. And I'll be in a better mood the next day for it. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you next week. Bless you and have a great evening. And thank you so much for supporting me. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Have a great night, you